having Hillel, I took it for granted as an undergrad, just having things available, all through, my childhood growing up, high school, college, everything was there. It was easily accessible. It was available. It was free most of the time. And I just don't think that you're going to be able to find anything like that.
Laura and I met at Hillel, so that influenced me pretty pretty impactfully. So it was October of 2010, and so 10 years ago almost. And I needed a date. I was a freshman cadet, and I needed a date to the Navy Marine Corps Ball. And sure enough, I met Laura there, and the rest is history. It has instilled within me kind of a sense of Judaism that I've carried throughout my time in the Army. Typically, everywhere I go, I'm the only Jewish person in my unit, which is cool. It's like being an ambassador all the time. And so just the different social dynamics that I got to partake in, and a lot of the different things I learned through Hillel, and a lot of the friends I made helped me be an ambassador to people who've never met a Jewish person.
I grew up in Maryland, and we had a pretty large Jewish community. Our synagogue was pretty big, and I attended a very small Hebrew school outside of the synagogue, and I never really felt connected with my local Jewish community. Like, I felt very connected with my Jewish faith and my Jewish heritage, but not with my Jewish community outside of one or two close friends. So Hillel was really the first place that I had that sense of Jewish community, and that was amazing to me.
So what we typically do is we go to the synagogue, and quite honestly, after services, we try to find the other young people. We talk to them. If we like them, then we start hanging out, and it's worked out pretty well. We've made some really great friends, both in Colorado and now North Carolina.
So I got really lucky with my roommate. I had a Jewish roommate when I moved up here, and her and I went shul shopping is what we were calling it. And once or twice a month, we were trying out different synagogues in the area. She works at a Jewish day school, so she was able to recommend a few. I asked around some friends that were from the area, coworkers who were all able to recommend different places to try out.
Currently, so in Fayetteville, we have two options. So we are able to attend chaplain-led services on the military post, and there is also one local synagogue. And so when we first moved here, we would alternate between going to the chaplain-led services and then the local synagogue. Because it's such a small Jewish community here, we really wanted to support both, and we felt included in both.
After a long, hard day of work on a Friday, it's hard to go to services and stuff like that. But once again, it's kind of what you make of it. So when we were hanging out with all of our friends in Colorado, it was easy. It was fun. So we looked forward to it.
I also work for a nonprofit that follows the Jewish calendar, so I actually get off for all of the Jewish holidays, and we work from home on Fridays, so there's not much of a commute. So it hasn't been too terribly difficult to work it into my schedule, thankfully, but I think that is the exception, not necessarily the rule.
For me personally, when I'm just starting a new job, I can feel very guilty taking time off, especially for Jewish holidays. As I've developed in my career and grown more confident in my roles, I feel more comfortable taking those days off. But even in terms of Friday night services, it can be hard to fit it in our schedule because most of our friends are not Jewish, and so they want to do things Friday night, and my husband and I are both pretty social, so it's always kind of finding that balance of making sure that we stay active because we want to with our Jewish faith and services and the community, and also staying active in our friend group as well, because that's our support system in the non-Jewish community.
Over in Colorado Springs, that's exactly what we helped start, was a young Jewish group where people just came out to meet other Jews their age in Colorado Springs, so that they didn't have to go all the way up to Denver for that sort of environment.
There are options because I'm right in Silver Spring, Bethesda, Washington, D.C. area. Big Jewish community, lots of options. Also just friends of friends. One of my coworkers is Jewish, and I met his girlfriend, and she's really cool, so she was able to introduce me to more people. I also had a few Jewish friends in the area who were able to help me network and connect. And I think, honestly, out of everything that I've done, just word of mouth and connecting with different people has been where I found the most success in finding my Jewish community.
The unfortunate thing about religion is most people who go are at a different stage of life than where most of us are. So it's a very old crowd. So if you're coming there and you want to join the synagogue, and the dues are too expensive, you express that, and generally they'll work with you to make it happen because they want younger people. They want your participation and your views and your insight, and our generation's insight.
Lots of synagogues are looking to bring in more people in their 20s and 30s, young Jewish singles. And so honestly, just having a real conversation with the rabbi or the cantor or whoever has been really successful for me.
I met another young Jewish adult at Yom Kippur services one year, and the two of us kind of started. I was more that moral support, and she was really the planner. But the two of us really started to spearhead doing monthly Shabbats and getting together for high holidays. And through Jewish geography, we ended up growing what just started out as more or less the two of us. And 3 years later, when I left Colorado, we had a regular attendance of 20 young Jewish adults. So that was really, really awesome.
We just look for a Jewish community in whatever area that we're in. So whatever they have, we're willing to take. When I was in Lawton, Oklahoma, there was no Jewish community whatsoever. But then when we moved to, and by no whatsoever, I mean, I helped lead the services at like a basic training portion of the base, and a couple civilians would come from off base. And many of them were just curious Christians who wanted to learn more about Judaism, which was fine. But when we moved to Colorado Springs, there was a synagogue. We met some other young Jewish adults, and we started a pretty large Jewish group.
I'm looking for a place that I feel like I belong, where there are people that I get along with. Trying to look for some people who are also my age. But most of the time I just want to make sure that, like the rabbi and I would get along, and that there's people in the congregation that I could go to.
Being a military family and looking for a Jewish community, we're just looking for any Jewish community. We don't always have large options. Case in point being in Fayetteville, North Carolina. In the past we were in Lawton, Oklahoma. So we're just really looking for a Jewish community. And we make the best of what we have available to us. And we have been very pleased so far.
The best advice that I can give is to just go out and try things, and some of them are going to be, putting yourself in uncomfortable settings that you may not be so familiar with. But I found everybody to be super friendly, super nice. Everybody's willing to say hello, Shabbat Shalom, where are you from, get to know you, invite you over for dinner, those sort of things. So take advantage, and next time somebody says, hey, do you want to come over for Shabbat dinner? Take them up on it. Honestly, that's maybe you'll meet somebody at that dinner that's really cool, and then you'll be able to just continue expanding from there.